everybody, welcome to Goots' Disney Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots, and it's the Muppet season. Still more Muppets. We're up to Muppet Treasure Island. And back on the show to discuss this swashbuckling adventure, God, I hate myself, is Andrew Schiavone. Andrew, how are you, buddy?
I liked your swashbuckling. Yeah, that's good. I haven't heard that word in a while.
I know. Well, we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back.
One buckle at a time.
This whole episode's a throwback because I don't think anyone's done a podcast about Treasure Island in 5,000. I don't think anyone's ever done a podcast centered around the Treasure Island novel, but we are.
Yeah, I think you need a map to find this on DVD because I don't think a lot of people bought this one.
I don't think this was
released. What?
I don't think this was a very popular Muppets movie.
And I grew up during the time of the Muppets, and I remember this came out, and I was excited because I love Treasure Island and I love the show. And then, no, I didn't love Treasure Island. I love Christmas Carol and I love the show. Mm-hmm. So and Muppet Babies. So when this was released, I was like, yes. And then it was horrible. I mean let's
not jump ahead. Let's jump ahead.
Okay.
Let's first get talk about you, Andrew. The last time you were on was October, November. Yeah, around October. Yeah, it was still Halloween. October of 2020. What have you been up to since then?
Well, I got vaccinated. You know, a lot has happened. It's been 2 years. The world reopened, and
I know
doing a lot of traveling for shows, which has been fun, and it's been like quite the adjustment from sitting in my house all day and then just going to sleep to like traveling and being around people all the time. I think that took me like 3 months to get used to.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty intense to be back on a plane, be in a hotel, and then you're like, you know, that thought hits you where you're like, oh my God, it was a pandemic 2 years ago, because you forget because everything's like kind of back to normal.
Yeah, I mean, well,
China and North Korea
with hotels and stuff.
Oh yeah, you and me did, yeah. Oh yeah, that was fun. We went to Gettysburg.
We had a guy with his shirt off yelling at us.
Yeah, we had that, and then I got so into Gettysburg after that trip. I watched the movie. I like watched documentaries, and I know a lot more about Gettysburg. We should go back. I know way more now.
Well, now next year you headline. I'll open for you, and we'll take back Gettysburg.
That's a good deal. Okay, we'll have to stay in that same creepy hotel too.
You got to stay in the same hotel with the guy with the shirt off. Just recreate the whole trip. We'll bother that woman on her lunch break again. Remember that? It's like, this is my lunch break. But anyway, here's your food. Remember that waitress at the diner?
Yeah, she had to take a lunch right when she gave us our lunch. And this I really liked is normally I accidentally, when they say enjoy your food, I say you too. But this is the first time in history that actually applied.
Yeah, no, that did apply. Yeah.
She said, enjoy your lunch. And I said, you too. And she sat and ate her lunch, and we ate our lunch. And then I looked at you and said, isn't that crazy? This never happens. And you were just eating. And
yeah. I was pretty hungry. I remember you being blown away that the U2 worked. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
You were like acting like we just saw a unicorn. Like, unicorns are real.
I'm like freaking. I'm standing on the table, and you're like, "Cool, man. Can you pass the salt? I have other things to worry about here."
Well, I would never say pass salt. I just take it like a barbarian.
Yeah, me too. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll knock over glasses to get.
I might have then said, you know who else stinks in comedy? But that's a whole other conversation.
You know what to plot? You know what the exception to the salt is in the Batman, the first one, where they're at that long table.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, can you pass the salt? And he has to get up and walk it over.
Oh, yeah. That was
in that situation, you would just get up and grab it yourself and sit back down?
Yeah, I would. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I would just get up, grab the salt from Bruce Wayne, tell him to go fuck himself. They'll be like, we could have sit at a different table. This is really the best. I don't know. A lot of that house in the first Batman was very impractical. And the fact that, like, even when they go into the smaller kitchen, like, why is everything so big, but then your kitchen's the size of like a studio bedroom?
It was really small, yeah. That's on the outside too. It just looked very bad. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't want to live in that house. It looked so ugly and scary.
No, yeah, it wasn't a good. Although it's better than where the Robert Patrick Batman lives. He basically lives in like a underneath an apartment building. I don't know where this guy lives.
Yeah, he lives underneath the apartment building and just drives like a regular car.
Yeah,
Like, who cares about that car? That's the worst Batmobile I've ever seen in my whole life.
yeah. Although it makes sense because now nobody knows that Batman's around because if you park the Batmobile, everyone's gonna know. Oh, Batman's in the area. That's the Batmobile. It has a giant bat on
Yeah, like the first one. Yeah, he just drives around, flames out of the back. The most conspicuous car in the world.
it. I know. Yeah, I mean it looks cool, but people are gonna know like, hey, maybe we shouldn't deal drugs here. Why? Well, that's the Batmobile. So why don't we go to the Bronx where he's not around and deal with drugs?
Yeah, that car does not make a lot of sense. Yeah, because there's be traffic and stuff. And what is he going to do if there's traffic? You can't like go on the walls, right? Or did he do that in one of them?
Well, he did that in the. I think he did that in the Christopher Nolan film, so he could drive on the walls, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think they factored that in. They're like, what about traffic? And they're like, all right, make him drive on roofs.
But you know what? Too, he also only goes out late at night, so I feel like he skips rush hour.
That's
He's
true.
already
Yeah.
in bed when the morning rush hour starts, and evening rush hour he waits till it's over, and then he goes out.
Yeah. Hopefully there's no big construction happening on I-95 when he needs to solve a crime or whatever. Be one lane.
I see you're on tour with Emma Willman a lot. That's pretty cool.
Say again.
You're on tour with Emma Willman a lot. That's cool, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're coming up a lot of stuff in the summer. We're going to Denver, Chicago, and Des Moines, and
Oh
then
wow.
possibly Washington D.C. at the end. We're working on it.
Okay, great. And now, so you were into the Muppets as a kid. You were into the Muppet Christmas Carol. I know the last host. I know like everyone that's like 10 years. Like, how old are you right now? You're like 30, right?
Well, no, I'm 36.
Okay, that's close enough. But everyone like younger than me grew up loving the Muppets Christmas Carol, and you were one of them, correct?
Yeah, I was obsessed with it. It was just so cool. Plus, I liked the Kane. What was his name? Michael
Michael
Caine.
Caine.
Yeah, all the Muppets were like the songs were good, and it was just so immersive. That puppet world of the Christmas Carol, and
Mhm.
Christmas is fun. And I knew the story from like other things, so when I saw like the Muppets doing the story, I'm like, whoa, they did so well in the Christmas Carol,
They
and they
did.
just
They did it.
cared.
They did it really well. Not to rehash last week, but it's the most faithful version of Christmas Carol because literally Gonzo's reading from the book, and then Rizzo will say something stupid, which makes it funny. So it's like respectful of the. It's like the perfect like parody because it's respectful of the material, but also like it's really funny. But it
Yeah,
doesn't shit on the material. Is what I'm trying to. You get my point?
yeah, yeah. And plus, I loved how Gonzo's just Gonzo, Rizzo's just Rizzo,
Yeah.
right? Or does Gonzo say he's Dickens or whatever? Do you know? I
No,
don't know.
he's just Gonzo, but he's basically like reading from the book. So like when Gonzo gives narration, it's like he's reading directly from the book. And then like once they finish with narration, Rizzle, I think that the formula is Rizzle says something stupid and then Gonzo tells him to fuck off or something. You know what I mean? Like then they go back and forth, but when Gonzo's reading from the book, he's doing it as serious as Gonzo can be.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
fourth wall too. Like Gonzo's reading and Rizzo's like, "What are you doing?" Or like it's super
Yeah, I think he does do that.
critic.
Well, why? What are you doing? Yeah, why are you reading that book? Why are you talking like that? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So then I like that, and I like Muppet Babies, where they were babies, and then like they'd watch Star Wars for some
Mhm.
reason. So that was a good Venn diagram. And then when this came out, I was excited because I like pirate Legos. Those are big. Do you remember those, Ray? Or were you into Legos?
I was, but I didn't get too deep into them because I think my dad. I think the classic story. My dad stepped on one, or I stepped on one, and then it was just like, this is like too complicated.
You were done with them?
Yeah, I wasn't. I was. Yeah, I was only into them for a little bit, and then I got away from them. But you were into the Pirate Legos big time.
Oh my god, yeah. It seemed like pirates are everywhere too. I had pirate Legos. There was the Pirates of the Dark Water, which scared me, and there was
Mhm.
another one. I read Treasure Island because they had this abridged kids version that I got for Christmas. So I knew the story. I loved the pirates. Pirates. I was a pirate for Halloween because of the Legos. I think.
Jesus, so you were into pirates.
Yeah, right. And I feel like this kind of ruined the pirates for me. I don't know. I was not into pirates after this movie. So I assume this was the turning point of my life.
I'll tell you this and the Johnny Depp trial. I think have killed pirates off once and for all.
Yeah, I think Amber Heard. Yeah, Amber Heard's worse than Davy Crockett, really. Or I'm sorry, Davy Jones.
Davy Crockett was an asshole too. So, Davy Jones, the real Davy Crockett, I think was a real creep, but that's a whole other episode.
Plus, he's like Hook now. He's got to replace his thumb and whatever she cut off from the beer bottle.
Oh, Johnny Depp. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Are you following that trial, by the way?
I did, and then it's like parodying itself already. It's like becoming insane. I can't believe it's still going on.
It gets very depressing after a while, and you're like, okay, all right, I get it. These are just two people who have never should have dated. They just never even should have talked. They shouldn't even been in the same room together.
Yeah, I think there's a Hollywood industry where, there must be some matchmaker that matches up models with rich actors. I don't know what goes on there, but
I wish we had that in stand-up. I wish they could just give you a beautiful model and there you go, take it to the stand.
No, we do the opposite. It's like instead of models, it's like Halloween haunted house actresses or something. People disfigured and stuff. We get matched up with them.
People like my mom used to burn cigarettes on me. Hey. No.
Yeah, you're a good match.
You're good.
You're like your mom.
So I never seen this movie until last night. Did you see this as a kid?
I did see it as a kid. I had the VHS, and like I said, not a lot of replay value. There's some points I liked and some points I hated, and I'm prepared to bring them all up. I don't know the format of the show.
Oh no, yeah. So right now, I'm just asking you. Oh, sorry. I'm asking you. Yes. So what's your opinion on these? So as a kid, you just rewatched it. What do you think of this fucking thing?
On first watch, it was lukewarm. Like the Muppets, and now I kind of had the same thought as a kid, where it's bad until Tim Curry comes at minute 23. I made a note of when he comes in. And I remember watching this with my mom, and when Tim Curry walked in, she was like, "Ooh, Tim Curry."
Yeah.
And she was like blown away, and I didn't know who he was. So I'm like, I guess he's good. I don't know. And then after that, of course, Home Alone 2, or I forgot he was in that, and
Rocky Horror Picture Show,
which I, of course, as a kid, I would never watch or not understand. Even now, it's confusing, but even now, I'm like, why is Meatloaf in a motorcycle? Like, and they eat him because his name is Meatloaf. I have no idea what's happening. But yeah, so I liked him. Tim Curry carried the whole movie for me in the rewatch.
Yeah, me too.
Every scene with him is great. Every scene where he's not in is bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've been doing this Muppet that I decided this season I would do the Muppets because the podcast was getting a little bit too nerdy with Spider-Man and Star Wars. It was a lot of bitching and moaning and yelling about Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, let me get back to the lighthearted roots of the show, of this podcast. So I decided Muppet season. And I had seen the first 3 Muppet movies a million times as a kid and didn't really watch Muppet Christmas Carol. So after Jim Henson died, I kind of was like, I couldn't get into the Muppets. I kind of felt like, and I still believe this, Jim Henson was such a presence and such a driving force in the puppet industry that I think it's never recovered since his death, because he was so unique and such a brilliant voice that I just feel like it's just everyone just feels like a shitty imitation of him. And so I didn't watch any Muppet films after Muppets Take Manhattan. I watched Muppets Christmas Carol with this girl 10 years ago, so I wanted to fuck her. That didn't happen, but the movie was good. That was her favorite movie. And this is my first time watching this movie. And everything I thought as a kid was proven right by this movie. It is such a pale imitation of what the Muppets were in The Great Muppet Caper and Muppets Take Manhattan, and even Muppet Christmas Carol. It's just bad. It just doesn't understand. It makes the Muppets the Muppets. I hated it.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta so Jim Henson is a genius with the puppets, but he made Dark Crystal too, and that I don't know.
I've never seen that.
Okay, it's bad. We almost bankrupted him, and then but when Muppet Christmas Carol came out, it was the first movie after he died, and I feel like his son was in charge, and he had a lot to prove, so he made it really good. So maybe Henson had notes on the Christmas Carol, but this one I feel like I feel like Henson's son was like, I proved myself, I'm good. Now let's just do some BS thing that doesn't make sense. Let's ruin the franchise.
Yeah, let's just ruin this. But I'll tell you my problems real quick is I think they tried to do what they did with Christmas Carol, which is stick to the plot of the story. But Christmas Carol is a very easy story. I think you can put any characters. I think you can make a Christmas Carol in the WWE. Like you can do that in the middle of a WWE show, and it makes sense. It's a really great structure of a story.
And it's
This
an
is
arc.
very
It's an arc. Scrooge becomes different at the end.
yeah. It's a
And you
simple
see
arc.
why, and it makes sense.
Yeah, and this thing is like a little bit more complicated, and so like they're sticking so rigidly to the plot. There's not a lot of room for the Muppets to be goofy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they try. They try to make
Yeah,
him goofy to
yeah.
the detriment of the movie and puppets in general. But
Mhm.
like the cabin fever piece, like what is that? Why have that?
I think they like we need more music.
Yeah, and the music is bad. In the Christmas Carol, it was good. This one is
Mhm.
not. The only one that's good is like Tim Curry when he sings, and he even says it. He's like, "This is my only piece." Everybody, he sings about the pirate life or whatever.
Oh yeah, he's a great singer. Yes.
Yeah, but the first song that I remember in the movie was when that kid with the mullet, what's his name?
Um. Well, he's basically the hero. He's the hero of the story. Shit. What's his name? I looked him up, by the way. That song when I heard that. So he sings a song like it's kind of like the wanting song. That's what they always call it when they're writing musicals
Okay.
about wanting a better life. And Jim Hawkins. His
Okay,
real name
Jim
is Kevin
Hawkins.
Bishop.
Yeah, it's called Something Better for Me,
Mm-hmm.
I think. It's so bad. It's just like it's unsettling his voice. It sounds like Disney bought the rights to his testicles and removed them.
It was probably the worst singing I've ever heard in a movie.
Yeah, it
Like,
sounds like a joke singing. Like,
yeah. And I thought I said this kid had to like just not had a career. He's actually really successful in England. He's like a comedian.
oh really?
Yeah, he's really successful. And I was like, how did he survive that scene? Because that scene to me is career ending.
I guess if you're a comedian, you make fun of it and then it's endearing. It'd be
I don't
weird if he
know.
tried to become a professional musician, then people would be like, you're not good.
Yeah, I guess I don't think he ever sang again, but he was on Rebel Wilson's. Remember Rebel Wilson had a sitcom on ABC for one season?
Oh, he's on there.
He's on there. He played Dudley Moore, which if I was Dudley Moore's family, I would immediately cause a riot.
Oh, interesting. Well, I didn't like. Okay, so he's bad at singing. So they're like, okay, he's bad at singing. Everybody, well, let's give him some backup singers, Rizzo and Gonzo, who are just raspy voiced.
Yeah,
They don't have any tone.
no, they're pretty bad too.
So you got a guy going, ooh, and then you have Rizzo and Gonzo going, ugh. It just doesn't. It's horrible.
Can you imagine if that's the take that they put in this movie they put out all over the world? Can you imagine the takes they were like that were the takes they didn't like of this kid singing?
I can't imagine. Yeah, that they
Yeah,
could have ADR'd his voiceover. They should have got hired as singer like they did with Mulan and or all the other Disney movies.
yeah,
It
all the
feels like he is
cartoons.
singing. It feels like he's singing.
Yeah, I think he is singing, but it's like falsetto. It's like, why would you have? I don't know. It's just oh, it's like why would you have like this kid who's supposed to be a pirate? He wants adventure. Why would you have him singing like he's an opera singer in a Muppet
Yeah.
movie?
And then why have Rizzo and Gonzo sing? At least have him like they're singing really like brings it down to a worse level than it should have been.
Yeah, Rizzo and Gonzo didn't join in the songs in Christmas Carol, right?
Never.
Never.
I don't
And
think so. Yeah.
that's the other thing. So in Christmas Carol, Rizzo and Gonzo are kind of like the Greek choir. They're the narrators, and they of all the action. In this movie, that it kind of starts like that. Then they just kind of vanish.
Yeah, their purpose like makes less and less sense. And if they were more of an active role, it would help. Like the way they did with Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I thought
They're
that's what they
like,
were gonna do.
yeah, but it's just said it's just like Rizzo has like a rat Carnival Cruise Line B plot for some reason that they never really address.
Hmm.
The characters on the boat never go, what are these rats doing here? it's just like two different movies. It's the rat cruise and then the pirate movie
Yeah.
side by side happening at once. Like, am I right? Did the rats ever do something to move the plot forward or
No, the
affect the
rats
movie at
don't
all?
do no because they're not part of the Treasure Island plot.
But neither
Because
is Miss
they're
Piggy.
well, Miss Piggy, I think, took the place of there's always a cast in the book. There was a castaway they find that's been trapped on the island.
Oh,
So I
and he
think Miss
finds the
Piggy.
treasure.
I'm
He finds
sorry.
the treasure in the book.
Yeah, when Long John Silver betrays them, Jim Hawkins goes on his own, finds this guy, and this guy leads him to the treasure. I think Miss Piggy is supposed to be that guy in this.
Okay, but
Yeah,
instead she's the leader of
a
problematic pigs that are
pig tribe.
like they're like Native Americans almost, but the worst stereotypes of them.
They're like island savages more
Yeah.
so, which by the way aren't in the book either. So they added like a really offensive stereotype to Muppet it up, which is like if you just had Miss Piggy stranded on the island alone, it would have been fine.
Yeah. And then that kind of like throws off the whole movie. And I hate it. What I would have liked is if there's a whole thing of pigs and Miss Piggy's there and Kermit is falls in love and Miss Piggy falls in love with him. But instead they know each other,
Yeah,
right?
well,
They used to be married or something. Or no.
yes, they know each other because in the book, the person on the island knows Long John Silver, but they changed it to her knowing Kermit. Um, yeah, they know each other and they sing a love song while hanging off a tree
Yeah.
to each other, which was another terrible song.
And then she goes, oh, this is the first time I heard this expression when she goes, "You left me at the altar." And he goes, "I had cold feet." And she goes, "Well, you are a frog." So I
That's
remember
actually
like
good.
I'm like, cold feet, is that things frogs have? I guess.
Did you? Well, I guess because they're always in the water. Did you find anything funny in the movie? Like, there was one scene I thought was funny and nothing else. What about you?
What
Did you
scene was
find
that?
when they're doing the roll call
Oh, that was
and
good. Yeah.
they get to like this really weird name, like ugly, fat, smelly, and some gorgeous brunette goes here, and the next one they go Anna, and it's like this ugly monster goes here, like what I mean, like that was funny. The roll call, and then Kermit being like, "Who hired these people?" And they point to Fozzie, and Fozzie points to his finger. Your finger hired them. Well, the person, oh, it was me. Oh, never. I thought
Finger
that
in the
whole sequence.
cook. Yeah. That I like that. I mean, as a kid, I thought the finger thing was weird. Is that in the book or no? It's not
No,
in the
it's
book,
just a
right?
joke. Like everyone's pointing at Fonzie, so Fonzie's got to point to somebody. So he
Oh,
points
so
to
he
his
points at
finger.
his finger. Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't even put that together.
yeah, because they're all like, he did it, and he wants to get out of it, so Kermit's not mad at him.
Yeah, that
Um,
that was funny when he go old Tom, dead, and then dead Tom. He's just a skeleton.
yeah,
Young Tom, old Tom, dead Tom. It made me
that
laugh.
was funny too. That whole roll call sequence was very good, and I'm like, oh, maybe the movie's gonna get better because then Tim Curry shows up, and it does it. It's like, and Tim Curry gives it his best. To be fair,
He
Tim
kills it,
Curry's
yeah.
more of a Muppet than the Muppets in this movie.
And he acts circles around the mullet guy, and because I think that's the only other human, right? The mullet kid.
Well, he has humans on his crew, but they're kind of like just they're kind of just grunting like they're not
Oh
really.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The bald guy, right?
And the guy from the Billy Connolly is at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, Billy Connolly too, yeah. But they never in a scene together.
Yeah, and he wasn't very good in this. I'm sorry. Apologies to Billy Connolly.
No, I'm sure he was just drunk or something and on coke.
He was like coke the entire time.
Yeah,
But Tim Curry's great, and I love the idea behind Treasure Island, which is this kid goes this adventure, and there's two parental figures. There's the captain who's like good and just, and then there's this cook who's like a piece of shit, but he kind of like bonds more with the piece of shit than the just captain, you know?
yeah.
And the piece of shit actually teaches him to be a better person while betraying him. But I don't know, it was like something was missing. Like I'm like, all right, Tim Curry can deliver this character. Because the last scene between Tim Curry and Jim Hawkins was really good, where he's like, I can't shoot you, like you're a good kid, you deserve better, I'm gonna go off. But the movie doesn't earn that moment. I don't
No,
know. It's
exactly. It
just like,
seemed so forced and sudden. They could have cut
yeah,
the cabin fever piece and made more development there.
yeah, cut the dance number and more development between those two. And then the other thing I was thinking about, like, why not just have Kermit be Jim Hawkins
Yeah, I don't know.
instead of having a human kid?
Yeah, you could have had Kermit and then Tim Curry.
Yeah,
And that would have
Kermit
been
and
more
Tim
more
Curry.
Muppety. Yeah, that's like the Muppet Show. Is they only have like one celebrity. They never had like
Yeah, and then like have the captain be like I don't know, like Ralph the dog or something.
yeah, they had other characters they could have used. I think this is my cynicism speaking, but I'm sure some Disney executive was like, "We got to connect to kids. You can't just have this creepy person who played a transvestite in a movie and a puppet. They got to throw a kid in and ruin the movie."
I could see that because there were a lot more humans in this than there usually are.
You know what would have been great is if they had Kermit's the Tiny Tim from the
Nephew,
Muppets.
Robin.
Robin. He would have been perfect.
Robin. Yes, Robin could have been Jim Hawkins. Perfect.
That's too perfect. Yeah. And that worked in Christmas Carol. There was no human kid.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, that's right. Robin was Tiny Tim. Yes. Yeah.
If they had this mullet guy as Tiny Tim, that movie would have been horrible.
Oh my God, you would have been rooting for Tiny Tim to die. You would have been like, actually, I changed
Yeah.
my mind, kid. Drop dead. I love being an asshole.
Yeah. I feel like you're right. The kid casting is bad, and Rizzo and Rizzo and Gonzo had too much to do with him too at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they had just
If they were just
Robin.
the narrators again, just reading directly from Treasure Island,
Yeah.
that would have
Right,
been
right.
better rather than being the kid's sidekicks. Because the thing about that kid in the book is he's alone, so he has two forces that are like But if he has like these two goofy friends with him, then it doesn't have the same effect of
No.
Long John Silver kind of manipulating him, but also like tutoring him. You know?
Yeah, that was I like that. And then I guess he finds a third person on the island in the book, right?
Yeah, that's but they changed that to Miss Piggy though now.
But that would have been even more interesting.
Yeah,
Third person. I don't know. It's very odd, and the choices were all wrong, and they had such a hit with Christmas Carol. Why deviate from that formula? Like,
well,
what is the goal
I
here?
don't think they thought they were deviating. I think they thought, well, we did one classic children's novel, we'll do another. But I just think this plot, the plot of this thing, doesn't lend itself to the Muppets. It's a little bit too serious. I would have done,
Less serious, yeah. Maybe that's why they made all those changes.
yeah, I would have done like Cinderella or something, or Snow White even. Like that's what I mean. Like just something where you have a lot of room to be, goofy and silly and
Well,
still like tell the
yeah,
story.
they had to do the public domain, and I assume they didn't want to touch a previous property.
That Disney did. Yeah, that's true.
Christmas Carol was never done by Disney. Maybe it was, but maybe it sucked.
Maybe they could have done Robinson Crusoe or the Swiss Family Robinson. Isn't the Swiss Family Robinson about a family that gets stranded?
Yeah, it's like almost the exact same plot, except it's like Ewoks in Treasure Island. Like they basically make like these tree houses and stuff.
Yeah,
I
they
really
could have
don't know
done
the plot.
that because then it could have been the Muppets just stranded on this island having adventures. That would have been fun.
Yeah, I mean anything would have been better than this. I mean they could have made this work though, which is frustrating. It's a
I
good
think
story, I think.
Yeah, I think if they just completely changed the plot around and not stuck to the book, yeah, they could have made it work. Yeah, I mean, you have Tim Curry, which is tremendous, and well, here's the other thing too. See, the reason why Christmas Carol works, Michael Caine said, "I'm not gonna play this like I'm playing with Muppets. I'm never gonna acknowledge that there's Muppets scene. I'm playing this like I'm in the Royal Shakespeare Theater,
Yeah.
and this is the most serious piece I've ever done." And that's why it works because Michael Caine is never like, "Whoa, there's Muppets here." And as good as Tim Curry is, I kind of feel like he's aware that he's with puppets. Whereas Michael Caine is like, Gonzo could be wearing a banana on his head, and Michael Caine is just going to be like, "I told you to come to work at 6 o'clock." He's not deviating from the character, which is what makes it work so well.
I believe the word is committing. He
He
commits.
commit. He commits. Yes.
Tim Curry, I don't know. But that Tim Curry played it how they used to do it on the Muppet Show. Like the Muppets would always have a celebrity and it would be a wink and a nod. Hey, this is puppets. It's weird. I feel
Yeah,
like
and I think he should have had such a wink and a nod. It would have been better.
yeah, he shouldn't have had a crab thing on his shoulder that never really comes to play. And I really don't understand a lot of the changes they made. I really feel like they should remake this with Muppets and try to do it right, like with all our notes.
Living
Have
all over.
Robin be the star, and you
Have
know,
you watched like any of their more recent Muppet stuff? Like
no,
it's
this ruined
horrible.
Muppet. I promise you, or I wasn't joking when I said this ruined Muppets for me, and I feel like after this, I kind of was started hitting puberty and becoming less into Muppets, more into women Muppets. You
I
know,
put on a couple of more more into women Muppets.
yeah, yeah, women
I put
Muppets.
on one of they had a Disney Plus series that was only like 10 episodes. I put that on about it during the pandemic. It came out during the pandemic, and it was like awful. You had Miss Piggy doing a YouTube video, and the voice was all wrong. And it's like, and I just turned to my friends, that this was never the same. And I think that's for the entire industry of country. It was never the same after Jim Henson died. I don't think it ever recovered.
Well, and also Disney Plus actually ruins everything they touch, in my opinion. Like they got The Simpsons and they made these shorts that are just all awful. The
Oh, I haven't
Simpsons
even
Disney
watched them.
Plus shorts.
I haven't seen them. Are they
One,
bad?
they're just Marvel people, and there's no joke. It's like
I kind
at
of
least
feel
as
that that's
Loki.
been The Simpsons since 2003, though. There's just no joke. Are you
It's
do
been
you
a,
still watch The Simpsons or?
not when it comes out, but I watch the old ones.
Yeah. When did the show stop being good for you?
Season 10, 11. I think 11
Yeah.
like limped, like hit and miss, hit and miss, and then 12 I was totally checked out. I was more into South Park and those other shows.
Yeah, like I remember being addicted to, like, when this show first came out in 1990. It was all I could think about. Like it was like in 1992 when Simpsons. I was be like, I can't believe there's this show this good. Like I was just
Yeah.
always Thursdays, because when it was on Thursdays, that was when it was just untouchable.
Yeah, there's so
But
much good show. The Seinfeld was on Thursdays as well.
yeah, but Thursdays 8 o'clock, I'd be in my living room. You couldn't get me to do anything. And I was just like, and I would be used to, you know what I used to be? I used to be afraid. I used to be like, I hope this show lasts like 6, 7 years. Like, I don't ever want this show to end. And be careful what you wish for, because I like, if you told me in 1990, oh, the show's going to go on for 30 more years, I'd be like, oh my god, my life is set. Like,
Dream come true.
I'm going to have the best life anyone's ever had. And the fact that, like, I just haven't watched it. You couldn't pay me now to sit down
Yeah.
and watch a new episode Sunday 8 o'clock. You couldn't pay me.
Yeah. Next time when you wish a show goes on, wish that the writers stayed on too. Like
I think
you gotta
some
be
of
more
them have,
specific.
but they buy their own bullshit now.
Oh, really?
I don't know. It's just it's so disappointing.
Well, a lot of them left, and one did King of the Hill, another one did
Oh yeah, Office, Greg
Futurama.
Daniels,
Yeah. So they all
and
kind of split off.
that's true. But I think like two of the producers stuck around. There's writers on there now that were born after The Simpsons. Like they were born like after 1990, 19, like they were. Isn't that insane? That's wild to me that they don't know a world without The Simpsons. That's insane. That's just insane.
Yeah, I heard that's the problem too, because like a lot of Simpsons humor was referenced in pop culture at the time, the 90s, and then the people being bored now, they're referencing the Simpsons. They're all they have is the Simpsons. They're not really
Yeah,
grounding themselves in the real world or something. I don't know.
yeah. Speaking of Disney Plus, have you watched any of the shows like WandaVision, Moon Knight, any of that stuff?
Moon Knight's horrible. WandaVision I couldn't get through. They're just bad. And then the one I hated the most was the Hawkeye one.
Oh, you didn't? You hated Hawkeye? I liked Hawkeye. You hated
Oh
Hawkeye?
God, yeah. It's just
What
about
happened?
some woman who likes Hawkeye, who has a crush on him, and then is rich. That's her magic power. She's rich.
Oh, she doesn't have a crush on Hawkeye.
Yeah, she sees him save somebody, and then
Oh, the
like,
little girl. The little girl.
yeah.
Okay. No, she admires him. I don't think she has a crush on him.
Well, whatever. Yeah, it was so bad. It's like, give me more Hawkeye. I don't care about some more. It's just a Disney Plus ruining things.
Well, the Moon Knight show. So Moon Knight on the comics he's kind of like Batman. He's in New York. He has like a flying jet. He has a French guy who's his assistant. And he's a badass. He just beats the shit out of people all over New York. And that's a show that kind of writes itself. And then I watched the show and I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? What is going on? And then, like, at the last episode, they brought in this female character who was never in a Moon Knight comic. It's an original character. And
Yeah.
at the end of the show, they give her superpowers, and she's like, I'm the first Egyptian female hero. And I'm like, oh, that's why you did this show. Because you thought it was problematic that a white guy got powers from an Egyptian god. So now you create this imaginary Egyptian woman to give her powers. You could be like, we have representation. And it's like, just fucking make Moon Knight. All right.
Yeah, it ruined it. Yeah, he becomes like some goof. She saves him on the moped. She saves him like a couple other times. He's just some idiot. But I feel like they're trying to overcorrect for 100 years of men being the star, but they're doing it too hard. They're like,
Yes.
don't do it in a Moon Knight show. Do it, make your own show. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, Wonder Woman worked, or make a new character that's a woman and has powers. What they're trying to
Yeah.
do, but they're attaching it to this show.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It is like this kind of guilt, but it's like people of all ethnicities at the comic book shop liked Moon Knight for Moon Knight. They
Yeah, of
weren't like being
course.
like, "Oh, I'm not going to read Moon Knight because he's not Egyptian," or "I'm not going to read Batman because he's not Chinese." Like they just like Batman for who he is.
And
They
it's
don't
worked for
want
so
you.
long. It's worked so
Yeah.
long. Why? I don't understand. I don't get it at all. It's upsetting. And I mean, I'm still Disney ruined Star Wars by trying to do the same thing. They're like,
Mhm.
oh, we'll have this young girl be the hero, and every guy around him is a doofus. And then it just is bad. I don't know. There's more to the plot than just having gender swaps. You got to
Yeah, I
add
feel like
more.
they think that's good enough. Like, well,
They do,
now,
yeah. They lean on it. It's like you gotta have more of a story there. I mean, I'm fine if the lead is a woman, but then make it good. And I
yeah, and
don't
I'm
know.
always like, why not introduce? I think the only time it really worked was Miles Morales because it came organically in the comic books. In that universe, Peter died, so Miles mysteriously gets spider powers and is like, I wanna follow Peter Parker. Like, I want to, we lost Peter Parker. I want to keep following his footsteps, and it worked because there's an organic reason for Spider-Man to be a black kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it like there was a like now they're like, how did I get these powers, and like, am I connected to Peter? Like there's this whole mystery in the comics, and they put that into the Spider-Verse. But most of the time it's just like, yeah, the character's black now, or the character's a woman, just deal with it. Oh, you have a problem with it? You must hate women and black people. Fuck you, you racist white guy. And it's like, make it organic, make it part of the story.
Yeah, it was Miles Morales was organic, and it was like it wasn't like every property at the time did the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
because it just cheapens the plot moment and all the reasons behind it. Like if everyone is just flipping a switch and making all the characters different, then it cheapens
Yeah.
then you kind of resent the show. You're like, you're just doing it because it's part of what you have to do. I don't know. It just feels like I like when
It
things are
feels like now
organic.
every Marvel thing has to kind of be like, has to, all right, the white guy created the 60s, we're putting him aside, and now here's a Latino lesbian, here's an Egyptian woman, here's an Asian guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, it's like, but I know you enjoy Doctor Strange and Moon Knight and Iron Man, but you know what? They're all white guys. Push them to the side. Here's a lesbian. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It just the Miles Morales thing. I remember. I don't think that many people were mad. I don't like.
No, because they had but this wasn't in the main universe. It was in the Ultimate Universe, and Peter went through a lot of shit and died, and it was organic the way he died, and there was a good story with the fallout, and they had a little fallout of, hey, everyone now knows that Peter Parker's Spider-Man and he was dead, and da da da. And then when Miles showed up, it was a pretty good storyline. It has to be justified. Like when Steel, so when Superman died and they had Steel, no one even
Yeah,
talks about this. There was a black guy who was Superman for a
I
moment.
remember. I saw the movie. Shaq was the
Oh,
star.
I never saw that movie. How is it?
Oh, it's pretty bad.
Well, yeah, yeah. But
As a
well,
kid,
that
though, I
see,
liked it.
I would have liked that movie if they actually said like Superman died, now I'm the new Superman. Instead, he just became Steel. I guess there was no reference to Superman in the movie, right?
There was what?
There was no references to Superman left.
None at all. No, it was just Shaq
Just
being metal.
yeah, that's stupid. He should have been like, I'm doing this Superman's dad. I'm doing it. But nobody had a problem. Like if they had revealed, oh, this is the new Superman, everyone would have been fine with it because like, all right, he died, and this guy is gonna built his suit to continue Superman's fight. That's fucking cool, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel it too. The Steel I liked. I don't know. Blade was black. I like that. I mean, he was black on the properties, but
that was just funny the way you said that.
but now it's like when characters, it just doesn't. And a lot of the times too, which is harmful, is they cast these people, POC actresses and actors who are just not good. I feel like because they're in high demand, you know, like Wesley Snipes was good. I don't know. It just feels like these actors.
Well, that was the girl in Star Wars, the Rose.
Ray.
Yeah, in Star Wars, she was terrible, and every time anyone said she was terrible, like all these white people were like, "Oh, you're just a racist." I'm like, no, she should not be in a. She's just as bad as this kid in Muppet Treasure Island. They're both bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. You gotta have like a good lead, but I feel like they blow all their budget on the property and the special effects. So then they leave the least amount of budget for the most important star.
Yeah.
Or the most important thing is a good actor being the lead or the actress.
Mm-hmm.
And they're I don't know. It's so frustrating. So frustrating.
It's really frustrating. Yeah, not as frustrating as this film, but yeah, it was pretty frustrating. Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of like it was very disappointing to watch this movie because I was like, maybe I was wrong as a kid. Like maybe I misjudged it, and this is gonna be an actual really fun movie. And when it was a chore. And here's another rule I have: no Muppet film should be over 90 minutes. The fact that this was an hour and 42 minutes was like, what are you doing? Why is this so long?
I don't get it either. It's so bad. It makes me so resentful to watch. I don't even watch movies anymore. I mean, unless I really like the director and stuff like Northman. And
oh, did you see the Northman? What'd you think of that?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but I would see it.
Oh, it was. I would say go to the movie theater and see it.
Okay. That's what I want. I want to do that. Film.
Yeah. Don't. I feel like if you see it at home, you're gonna be like, it's not gonna have the same. But it's a beautiful movie. Yeah, like. So I had this girl that was in my life, and now she's a puppeteer, and her stuff.
Oh yeah.
What?
You told me. I remember.
Oh yeah, we talked about this. Yeah, but her stuff, and I just feel like that's the state of puppetry. Everything is just so bad now, and it's not like Jim Henson kind of got. Here's my thing with Jim Henson. He kind of got like, all right, we're gonna be artsy, but we're also gonna try to be entertaining. Like, we can't just be artsy for the sake of being artsy. Like, you gotta make it fun. And he always nailed it. I mean, he had like an avant-garde German or I think Norwegian expressionist group host a Muppet show, and it fucking worked because it made it entertaining and fun. Well,
they were cartoony and I don't know. There was some magic to them, and I know you have to get out of here at 5. I got some notes on the movie. I didn't.
Oh yeah, let's go through notes. Okay. So I can hang out for.
I only got 2 notes, and the first one was the opening scene where they're digging the treasure, and they say 15 men go dig the hole, and then the pirate shoots them.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
but he's shooting them with those single shot pistols, so. It's not like he has a machine gun, he's got those. He had to reload.
That's true. Yeah. Well, he's like, maybe he's a Terminator sent from the future.
Yeah, maybe he has a laser beam in his eye patch. So yeah. That's the only thing that didn't make sense. I mean, those crew of men would have overpowered that pirate and killed him too. But
yeah,
they just stand there and wait for him to reload, I guess. I don't know what's going on. And then the other part I despised is the shipbuilding scene. They talk to a guy. Do you remember that scene? They talk to it's another human character wearing a white wig.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's probably 50 and he's making his voice sound like he's like 115.
Yeah.
He just looks regular middle age, but he's like, hey, hello. He just maybe he thought they were going to CGI him to look really old or something.
The human extras were really bad. Actually, all the humans besides Tim Curry were horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, so bad.
So, but I know in the past movies, if there were humans and they weren't famous actors, they were just the Muppet puppeteers. You know, at the same time, it's like, all right, you control Kermit, but Kermit's not in the scene. You're gonna play like a policeman or some shit. So maybe that guy and other humans were fucking puppeteers, and
Maybe.
I don't know, but it was pretty bad. Look, I just have to say, everyone in puppeteering should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, they've really fallen off. Stand up comedy, you know, we ebb and flow, but as a whole, like, if stand up comedy was as bad as puppeteering is right now, I would just say all the comedy clubs would be out of business. Nobody would be going to comedy shows.
Well, there's some crossover there. Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham, and they all hate Jeff Dunham. And meanwhile, he like, okay, but he sells out theaters, and you're so this person, this girl, she had like the history of China. She did a puppet show with the history of China, and this other person looked up tickets. They were $60. $60 to see a puppet show with the history of China.
Right.
Come on.
Did anyone go?
I don't know. I didn't. I mean, I'm assuming who would pay that? Who would pay that? Who would be like, you know, I want to take my girl out. I want to impress her. No, and I'm gonna spend $120 on this 3-hour puppet show with History China. I know, like if that was your first date with someone, is that where would you take them there?
No, I would never take them there. No, and I'm into China history. I still wouldn't see it played out by puppets.
Exactly. So the whole industry, and I think
something.
this movie was the death knell. I don't think it's ever recovered. I think everyone needs to hang up their puppets and do something better with their lives.
Yeah, I really feel for that guy who starred in that Muppet movie. I know he like crusaded to bring the Muppets back, and they made that movie where I didn't even get to see it. Siegel, yeah.
Have you seen that one? I haven't seen it yet.
No, I didn't see it.
That's coming up in 2 weeks. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like he really took your passion and tried to reinvigorate Muppets, but you know, I don't think he could. I heard that movie was good.
I think the problem is you can't walk in there and be like, you all fucking stink, because that's how I would take it. I would say to the people at Sesame Street too, you all fucking stink. We need to change this, because, you know, my mom, when I would watch Sesame Street, my mom used to say to my dad, you know, the great thing about this show is I get as much enjoyment out of this as he does. So that's why I love watching it with him, you know? And I put on Sesame Street like 3 years ago, and it was just unwatchable. And I think there needs to be a coming to Jesus meeting, and I don't think Jason Segel did this, where like, you all fucking stink, you're all not talented, we need to fucking do something about it. We need like a total revamp if we're going to bring this back to where the Muppets were in the 70s. And I just think everyone in the Muppet organization or in the puppet industry would just tell you to go fuck yourself and throw you out of that room. You know,
absolutely.
Like, no one could walk into like, you know, let's say we're all at a show near a comedy club, and some outside guy walks in and is like, this whole show sucked. This whole club sucks. We got to change everything. We don't be like, who the fuck are you? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But the puppet industry, the Muppets do need that. They need someone to be like, this fucking sucks. Let's fix it. But
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, there are some bad things about it. There is some bad comics and there's bad comedy shows, but I think as a whole, our industry is pretty healthy right now, right?
Yeah.
We're doing better than the fucking puppets. I don't know why I'm so mad at puppets.
Well, comedy's good because there's not a lot of, you know, like Disney doesn't own the rights to all comedians. Okay. So we're okay.
For now.
Yeah.
For now.
Like somebody can walk on stage and perform and they don't have notes from Ed Eisner and whoever. So
for now.
That's why stand-up comedy is still good. The Muppets are owned by Disney, so they can't do anything without like corporate notes and stuff.
I'm wondering if one day somebody just, what if like Elon Musk just bought all the comedy clubs in the world and would like, now you have to get approved by me to do comedy. I mean, that could happen.
No, it can, because you can't own the rights to an art form. Like,
but I'm just saying, what if he bought every club? Like, what if he just bought every club?
Then you could still start your own.
I guess you could just do. I guess we just do bar shows if Elon Musk didn't like us.
Yeah, bar shows, Zoom shows. I don't know.
I can see him doing comedy. I can see someone like him just getting really annoyed, like one day, oh, I don't think, I don't know, I don't think Hannah Gatsby should perform again. I'll just buy every comedy club, whatever. Andrew, before we get out of here, is there anything you want to plug? I know you have a great podcast.
Yeah, Panic Attacking Podcast. Check it out. And I don't know when this comes out, but I'll be on the road. Like I said,
tomorrow. Comes out tomorrow.
I'll be in Washington, D.C. I just got confirmation July 7th to 9th. Des Moines, Iowa. I will be there July 21st, or I'm sorry, 29th and 30th. And I'll be in Chicago Zanies 21st to 23rd. All of them I'll be with Emma. So look for those websites and Emma's tour dates.
Have you been to Zanies before?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it's a cool place. I haven't been. I was at the Laugh Factory, but I walked by Zanies. It's a really cool area. You're gonna have a lot of fun there.
Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to that. I've done comedy in Chicago before, but I think I just was there anyway and did a bar show.
Yeah, that's what I did. But I wound up. Aaron Burr got me into Laugh Factory. Have you been to the Laugh Factory or no?
No.
That place. See if you can get a guest spot over there because that place is super fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But the Zanies, like, it's in a super hip area. Like, there's a lot of like cool spots and stuff, cool restaurants and shit. I think there's a pizza place right near there. Maybe I
heard it's like half of a pizza place.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of like Chicago pizza, but there was like Chicago pizza because I walked by it. I just after I it was like super late at night. But when I got out of the Laugh Factory, I walked for a bit, which also the other thing too, at 2 a.m. in Chicago, the Uber rates go through the roof. So I walked around till 3:30.
Oh my god!
So
and it's a big town, like a lot of miles.
Well, because everything closes at 2, so the Ubers like they know they got you by the balls. So but I am a New Yorker, so I walked around which is kind of a mistake. You probably shouldn't walk around certain parts of Chicago at 3 a.m. But I wound up in front of Zanies at like 2:33 in the morning, and I'm like, wow, there was like a lot of cool restaurants. They were all closed because it was late, but it was like really cool. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, you'll like
all
it.
Right. Well, thanks, man, for having me.
Thank you for doing the podcast, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, we have an archive where Andrew was on doing Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Yeah, it was me and you in your house. So
yeah,
that was the first time I came over there.
I know, and then you started doing outdoor shows here. It was historic.
Yeah, pretty cool.
So he was the guest on that. So check that out. And guess what? I had my first contact of someone who was in a film last week. Andrew, you'll like this. One of the dancers in a Muppet Christmas Carol listened to the episode and hit me up on Instagram.
That's so cool. One of the dancers.
I remember in the scene.
Where they're twirling around.
Christmas with the Ghost of Christmas Present, and they're in like the town square, and there was a bunch of humans dancing behind it.
Oh, I love that number. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the guys that was behind this Ghost of Christmas Present reached out. So.
Oh, cool. I think that was one of my top songs from that movie.
That was in my head last week after watching the movie.
It's a good beat. Yeah.
It's a good beat, and I'm definitely gonna watch it at Christmas time again. But yeah, so a celebrity. Well, I don't know if he's a celebrity. Kind of looks like he does nothing with his life now. But someone from one of the movies.
Well, I hope one of the pirates message you now.
They're like, oh yeah, he'll be like, hey, that was a great movie. You assholes don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
And puppetry's better than ever. But next week I'm going to be doing Muppets in Space with Luke Schwartz. So tune in for that. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, Ray Goots. Follow the podcast, Goots Disney Pod, and subscribe to the show on iTunes. Thank you guys so much for your support and listening. Andrew, thank you for doing the show.
Yeah, man. Enjoy. Salute your shorts and I don't know.
Salute your shorts.
Luke Schwartz.
Oh, Luke Schwartz. Sorry. All right.
Eat your shorts.
Guys, you might see me and him back on the road soon. So look forward to that.
Sounds good, man.
Sounds good,
See you, everybody. See you on the road.
Thank you. Go fuck yourself, the puppet industry. Talk to you soon.